Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and I do have a few things to talk about, but first and foremost, I have to get into what has been on my mind this entire weekend since it dropped on Friday. NF and his newest EP, Fear. Now, if anyone knows, I'm a big NF fan. I adore his music and everything he's released. I don't really think there's a song he has in his catalog that I dislike. And I know I'm that way with a lot of artists that I love. There isn't really many songs that when an artist drops it I don't enjoy, but there are times that happens just for my main artist that I adore. It doesn't usually happen, and with this EP, this project, there isn't a single song on it that I dislike. He knocked it out of the park, and I really don't even know where to begin with my thoughts on it. Like, this is the most vulnerable NF has ever been in any of his albums, any of his music, like singles, whatever, what have you. And that's saying something. NF is a person, an artist, that people go to when they look for depth in rap music and hip hop. And I know he's not the only one out there, but he really carved his own lane and is a pioneer in this kind of dark, emotional rap. And I'm not saying that he made the game, but he sure as hell reinvented it. And with this EP, again, this is the most vulnerable this man has ever been, and that is saying something. He is always real. There's never been a moment where this man hasn't been real. And as he said, that's the slogan. Like, NF real music. It's not just a slogan. It is real to him. He says what he says because it's real. And I don't even know exactly what to say because I have so many thoughts, but since I've listened to it, I can't help but cry. Like, first and foremost, I can't help but cry to this EP. Every song on it just brings out an emotion that just is painful. Except for maybe Give Me a Reason, but even that one stings a little bit because I love this man's music so much, and it's the reason why the song Washed Up, which is the last on the EP, gets me so emotional. Like, that song itself, what it's talking about is losing that passion, that fire, that hunger that one has for music and all that he's done. Like, it's so sad. But let me step back a moment and first read you off the track listing. The track listing goes, track 1, Fear, into Home, Who I Was featuring MGK, Give Me a Reason, Sorry featuring James Arthur, and last but not least, Washed Up. It is a 6-song EP, runs about 21 minutes, and came out on Friday. Not too long ago. Very recent. So obviously I haven't given this a whole hell of a lot of listens. But after my first listen, I went to Twitter and said this: I have so many thoughts now that I've listened, and what an unexpected heartbreak. I knew it was to be dark, but that was unbelievably heavy in the emotional sense. NF, I hope you're okay, and thank you for this EP. I hope it's helped you, as I know it will help me. And I went on to say, it wasn't quite what I expected, and that goes to show how diverse you've become. I believe there will be more with how Washed Up ended, and I hope that fire can reignite within you. The embers continue to smolder, yet it's up to you. Give us all a reason to listen again, Outcast. Now, that's kind of what I put on Twitter. I just kind of wanted to get my brief thoughts out, just very high level. And again, going from track 1 of Fear, saying, hello, darkness, my old friend, all the way to Washed Up, where he just talks about, feeling washed up. What if I've already reached my peak? It's so defeating. Because originally, when I first saw this EP, if anyone remembers my previous episodes, I thought it was going to be something maybe angry. Maybe the fact that Fear himself, the character of Fear in NF's music, he's showed his head before in Intro 3 and amongst all of these other, all the other tracks where he says, both you and I used to hold the mic. It's something that really caught me off guard and was very unexpected. I didn't expect it to be like, again, as I said in my tweet, I expected it to be dark, but my God, this was heart-wrenchingly sad. Just absolutely heartbreaking. And that's the easiest way I can put it. Every single track had its own meaning, its own reason, and that's something I love NF for. He's such an artist. And I know that sounds preachy. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I don't mean to praise him too much, because I know he's just a guy, and he probably wouldn't even like all the praise. It probably makes him feel uncomfortable, as anyone probably would that's, got their head on straight. If you like being praised, you might have an issue. But with NF, like this album, this EP, I jotted down some quick thoughts after my first listen, and I wanted to share them on here. And mind you, they are quick, rough thoughts, so please bear that in mind. I wrote down some thoughts with the first listen, second listen, and third listen. As I always do, a maximum of 3 listens before I talk about something like this, especially when it's something from my favorite artist. And I believe I've listened to it maybe 4 times in full. I know it's only 6 songs, but believe me when I say it is hard to listen to. Not in a bad way, just it is so emotionally heavy and affects me so much that I adore every song on it. I very much do. I just can't bring myself to press play right after listening to it like I could with some of his other stuff. And his other stuff has been heavy, like very emotionally heavy. Nothing compares to this. And I don't know if it's because I myself have dealt with loss the way that NF has, and I know everyone's story is different. I'm not saying I've went through the exact same things he has been through, but losing a loved one, losing your grandma, losing a friend, all of these things, and having OCD and, struggling with these things. I've been there. I live that. I understand to my core, especially who I was. That second verse, that, NF's verse, not MGK's. MGK did great in who I was, I will say that. But NF's verse, when he talks about his kids and seeing them smile and just praying that they don't have to be burdened with the constant struggle and battle that dad has to go through, and I myself, I have shared those exact same thoughts. I don't have kids yet, but it's a fear of mine that literally I'm afraid that might happen for me, because I've dealt with a lot of mental illness and just struggles throughout life, and that's the downside of life. Like, are you going to bring kids into this? And it's a whole thing that'll make me spiral if I get too much into it, and I can't help but relate to it because I've thought the exact same thoughts. And I know that this might be a little deep, a little too real, but it's true. That's what NF brings to the table. It is real music. Now, again, back to my first listen thoughts that I wrote down here. I will read them out to you now. I started with saying, "Oh my God, fear. He has the keys, asking God if he was just showing him peace, just to take it all away." That was from the music video, which I haven't even begun to touch on. I'll probably touch on that after the fact here, because the music videos, they bring something else to the table that just is like, oh my God, the visuals, man. Then, after I watched Washed Up, I said, that's it? Not in a bad way. Just, holy shit, that's it? I need more. Because if you watch the video, you know what I'm talking about. There was a person, a reaper, if you will, standing there looking down at Nate. Oh my God, I'll get into it. Now, I went on to say, I believe something bigger is coming. These songs, oh my God, are they ever heavy. So much about loss, and I forgot that he had lost his grandma that time ago. It makes sense as to why MGK featured with all that they have in common through the loss and sadness, depression. The song Give Me a Reason as well, like, fuck. He wants to be hated. He wants fans to stop buying the tickets and give him a reason to push again. To find that fire again that he used to have. And then into Washed Up, my lord. That makes me cry, but also makes me think he's making something like a full-length EP or a movie, just something big, and that it might be his final movie. NF's swan song, if you will, in a way that I don't think we have ever seen before. That's for me hearing the lyrics of him saying, yeah, has my time expired? Did my prime already pass, or am I about to find it? Did my peak already happen, or am I still climbing? It makes me think that something else is going to be on the way. Though, that isn't to say I'm unhappy with this EP. This EP was way too short, but my God, what a good and completely unexpected turn for NF in terms of the opening track and into Home. Like, what? Home is not a rap song. There's acoustics. He did what he said he wanted to with Running. He wanted to do more songs like that, and that is what he did with Home. He did what he said he wanted, an acoustic track, and it made me sob. That one certainly hit the hardest, and if I had to give a tier list based off of my first listen, I would say number 1, Home, 2, Washed Up, 3, Fear, 4, Give Me a Reason, 5, Who I Was with MGK, and 6, Sorry with James Arthur. Also, I believe MGK out-rapped NF, though with more listens, we'll see if I think differently. Which I do. I do. I wish that NF's rap was, longer. I think that's what caught me off guard, because it was so short. And he just said the same thing at the beginning and the end. But holy fuck, did it ever hit. And it also went with the flow. So, I mean, I think NF did actually outperform MGK. But it was very much of not really an outperformance. It's just like they were both just spouting out things, like raw things that just make you hurt, makes your heart hurt. But damn, what an EP. Not at all the dark, quote unquote, I expected, but damn was it heavy. Not to mention as well the music videos. For Intro 3 to finally be reimagined like that in Washed Up. I believe that the upcoming album is gonna be Fear coming up out of the dirt, grabbing the keys, and facing everything he has left. I'm very sad, and I hope that he's okay. Now, to touch on the music videos, since, I can stop here and mention it, since I'm talking about it in the notes here, the music videos themselves, I'm not going to break them down frame by frame. Obviously, if you want to go see them, go see them. They are worth your time. But for Fear to open up the way it did, of him dressed all white, his Hope character, to catch on fire and, well, first and foremost, to get tied up and his mouth removed, like his mouth, he's silenced, and just being taken over by this darkness that bursts in through the mansion door, and then to just be consumed while standing in a church and bursting into flames, and burning down the whole mansion with him. Like, the imagery of that, and then not to mention also him washing his hands just over and over again like someone with OCD would. And yet through it all, he still has his wedding ring. So at least his wife keeps him grounded, and is very important to be shown in that, which is very beautiful. But it's also very, very heartbreaking to see that he is more or less giving in to that fear. It is no longer him, just as he says in the song. It's not him making the calls anymore, and it is fear. He's doing this out of fear. He's not the same hungry rapper he once was because of all of these things that have just happened in his life. All of this really sad shit of just life, of being, hey, here's a false joy just for it to be ripped away with someone passing. Like, to feel happiness, it's the classic of life. Like, it happens every time. You get really fucking happy, and then something out of nowhere just comes and fucking sucker punches you. And that's kind of what this song is conveying. Him going through that and then questioning his own faith. Well, like, God, did you do this while having literally the gas in his own hands. He's the one that did it, but he's looking for someone else to blame. It couldn't have been him. It's so sad. It is so, so sad. And the imagery that he shows, it just a very good music video. And thinking about it makes me want to just cry. So I'm going to move on to Washed Up. That was the second video he released right afterwards, which I was able to catch the premiere for both. But with Washed Up, it is I want to say continuation of what we just seen with Hope bursting into flames and everything like that. And with Washed Up, it opens up with him in all black. So in this case, we can assume that it's Fear, or at least the NF that we used to know before Hope, with, you know, the search and everything like that, Perception. He was in the black hoodie with the, you know, hoodie up, baseball cap as he does. He's walking outside through the rain outside of the mansion, and he gets put into a grave and buried alive because he gets hit with the shovel, same way that it happens in Intro 3, and that's what I mentioned in my little notes there. Because if you listen to the song Intro 3, which was the very first track from Perception, his third album, it is him and Fear going back and forth with each other to the point where he hits him over the head and buries him alive, and goes on to say, you'll be out in a few weeks asking for your room back. What? That's funny. You ain't got nowhere to sleep. I thought you had me in prison this whole time, but I'm the one holding the keys. A lot of it was like, hey, why didn't we get an Intro 3 music video at the time? Because before we got Intro 1 and Intro 2 videos. But this one was more cinematic. And with Washed Up, he finally did the Intro 3 thing, just without the conversation happening. And the difference being, it wasn't NF and Fear. It was Fear being hit over the head by a Reaper. Unless if this Reaper was Fear himself. And God knows, maybe the black suited NF in his black hoodie, maybe that's actually the NF that we were listening to. Maybe we haven't even heard Fear yet. Like true Fear. I don't know. But that's kind of getting into the lore of like his music. And granted, his music doesn't so much have lore as it is just all him, but he puts this imagery next to all of it, and it's very cinematic feeling. So there is kind of a lore to it, even though you don't need to worry about it whatsoever. It's not nearly like 21 Pilots where it's like there's these characters and everything like that. All of it is NF. And this mansion is his head. The backyard is where he buried his, you know, his fear, even though he let him out, as he said in, you know, in Fear itself, his fear came back. It's a good music video, though I gotta say it doesn't so much fit with the song. Just in the simple fact that, like, he's saying all of these things, and he is getting washed up in terms of, like, he's getting buried alive. And, you know, put to rest, if you will. It just makes me wonder of, like, what's gonna happen next? Because, like, if that's it, that can't be it. There's gotta be more. Who is the Reaper? And he's dressed in all black, hooded. You can't see his face. His hands are black. Like, I'm assuming that is also another NF, another Nate. And maybe that will be the character that he becomes or feels he is, who he feels he is right now in this state of mind for this next record that's to come. I don't know when that'll be. I just have a strong feeling we will be getting more NF material in the next year or two. Granted, again, I have no idea when, but I just have a strong feeling, like with the way that it ended and the way that the music video, and I did say it didn't fit the song too much, but the more I think about it, it kind of does. It is very sad. And I guess it just leaves you on that cliffhanger note that's like, who is that and what does this mean? Because I would imagine something's going to happen, because as I forgot to mention, unfortunately, at the very end of the video, that Reaper is holding the keys that not only NF has held, but Hope has as well, and they're the keys to the mansion. Obviously, don't need those anymore. The mansion's burned, and the Reaper leaves. I'm excited to see what's next, but I'm also worried for NF as a human being, Nate Nate himself. Are you okay, man? Because that was heavy. That whole EP was just heavy. And I have a few more notes to read through here to say, once again, I'm a sobbing mess. This is after my second listen. It's so many emotions. I can't begin to say how much I relate to who I was when NF says that he hopes his kids don't have to deal with that sadness that he feels. Even just typing it is making me cry. My list most certainly changed after the second listen, being number 1, Home, 2, Washed Up, 3, Fear, 4, Who I Was, MGK, because NF's verse destroyed me, or else it would still be Give Me a Reason. Give Me a Reason, number 5, and number 6 is Sorry with James Arthur. It's hard to put it all into a list, though, as all of it is just so damn good. I can't describe or decide which should be above the other, as, well, Who I Was makes me sob the hardest with NF's verse, and MGK even brought it. Then Home, like that's the best song hands down, no contest. Then Washed Up is just so heartbreaking because he's questioning his passion for his love for music and if he's even got anything left, and I can relate to that awful feeling. The negativity, it just eats away. Fear is just so good too, the opening track. Like, I only really know Sorry is my least favorite, and Give Me a Reason is good, but not to the level emotionally of the others. I need more time to cry along. Definitely an EP I'm gonna take my time with and only listen to in bursts, because I can't press play again with how much I just feel empty, hollow, a husk. Now, I went on to say as well, Washed Up in his verse in Who I Was, my lord. Third time in the whole EP had me sobbing, apart from Give Me a Reason, which is sad fire, and Sorry made me cry. What a release. Holy hell, I cannot wait to talk about it on my podcast. So that was kind of the end of my notes, and I know I've been rambling for a little while about the songs, but I just gotta say, it is something that caught me off guard. I didn't really know or even begin to know what to expect with it, and I was expecting something a little bit different, but with what he gave, I am perfectly happy with it, though it is devastating. From Fear into Home to Who I Was, Give Me a Reason, Sorry, Washed Up, I want to break every track down, but just know that it is heartbreaking. And from Fear, talking about how his fear is literally eating him alive and questioning himself and his faith and why these things are, like, not having the strength to hold back this negativity anymore, into Home and dealing with the absolute heartbreak of wishing somebody was still there and living through those memories, and some days you're okay where other days you just can't, and into Who I Was and worrying about am I who I thought I was, am I the person that I should be, and this life that I'm living, it's so beautiful, but I am afraid that all my burdens will be passed along. Like, it's just heartbreaking stuff. To Give Me a Reason, that one's just about, like, him again wanting to be hated, wishing that he had that reason to be mad again, something for someone to tell him that he is not enough so he can prove him wrong, just like he used to. And then Sorry, that one I feel like is a little out of place in the EP, but even then it still has its right to be there because it is very sad, and some people might take it as an emotional breakup song, but I don't know. I feel like it's something more than that, be it maybe a breakup song, someone important to him, maybe. Obviously, you can take what you will from it, but I feel like somebody important left, or he almost had something bad happen. I don't really know. I don't know what Sorry or who Sorry is specifically about, but it sure makes me feel, and it makes me sad. And maybe it's his relationship with God. Maybe he's talking to himself. It's a sad song, and it's him just again saying sorry. And then Washed Up, just, I mean, it's in the title right there, clear as day. Is he washed up? And that kind of question of self-doubt. It's all very heavy, and it's only 6 songs. And I've talked about it for maybe 25-ish minutes or so, if not longer. I don't actually fully know. I could probably talk about it more. And I feel like I do want to break it down a little bit deeper and get into those thoughts. And if I'm able to, you'll see an episode coming up from that. But it's just something that really hit me, and I think it might be. I mean, if it was an album, it would probably be a contender for album of the year. But it is an EP, and I can't put an EP in that list. Though I think I am going to change my top 10 album of the year list at the end of the year. I do plan on doing that again, but I think I'm just going to change it to releases of the year. Because this year, I haven't been listening to a lot of albums. I've just been kind of keeping up to date with songs or artists that I know that I love. And in saying so, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice. And it's literally because of this EP. I'd be doing a disservice to the music that has come out that isn't a part of an album. Be it single, EP, or album, whatever the release is, it's going to be on there. And I'd also be doing a disservice to Black Veil, because I fucking loved Hallelujah. Loved that shit. Like, anyways, I digress. NF, amazing EP. I know you're never going to listen to this, but thank you so much for that. Like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for that. And I just have to say that what you created to be this vulnerable and have such a heartbreakingly real EP, it means a lot to me. And I'm sure to all of us that, we genuinely can't even begin to describe the emotion that this piece of work, this piece of art has made me feel. I cannot even begin to describe. I've tried for the past half hour, but I digress. NF, thank you. This album, this EP rather, was so good. And I know that you want the fans to hate you, and that is a message and give me a reason. I know that's not what you actually want, but maybe more so need. And I'm sorry that I cannot contribute to that. I would if I could, but I can't be that disingenuous. When something hits me this hard and I enjoy something this much, I have such a passion for it. I can't lie and say, wow, it was shit. Or, just to make you feel hungry again. And I don't think any of the fans can. So you got to go look for the haters there, because believe me, there are quite a few. I actually made a post or a comment on my personal Facebook on, I believe it was Much Music's post, and just saying, hey, you guys forgot to say that NF's EP was coming out, because it was like new releases on Friday. And that one wasn't in the list. And someone commented and I can read the comment here. It actually kind of made me quite upset, not gonna lie, to where I don't know. I just thought, like, why be so ignorant and mean to somebody that you don't even know? Like, you don't even know at all. Because he said, or they said, I don't even know who they are, but regardless, people listen to NF. I thought that was a mental ward suburban white teen thing. Like, what? Music is not the fucking place to spread hate, man. It just isn't. If you want to spread hate, go somewhere else. Look into politics. Like, come on. There's enough hate in the world. It makes me upset. And that is something that I hope NF can see all of people like that and just tell them to screw off and prove to them that that isn't what he is. Like, I know I'm kind of just rambling, but what an upsetting just thing to say. And I've dealt with shit like that all the time. I love Black Veil Brides. They were, quote unquote, the shit stain band on the, like, I can't remember what Blasco always says that he heard them be called in some, I believe, article, but regardless, Black Veil, I've been through it with them. I've been through it with 21 Pilots. Like, people love to bully other people. It sucks. But it is a part of life, and I guess it's something you have to use as fuel to the fire, and I hope, NF, you're able to use that to fuel yourself, to just prove everyone wrong. And not only everyone, but yourself, because I believe NF has a lot left more in the tank. And maybe that's just my bias in saying so, but I sure fucking hope so. Anyways, rambles aside, to kind of move on to the last bit of stuff I wanted to talk about, as this episode might get too long, I gotta say, Black Veil Brides, I know I was just talking about them. Their Warped Tour performance that they pulled off in Orlando, holy shit. Like, holy shit. And definitely on the more lighter, like lighthearted side of things as compared to NF. But Black Veil Brides, their performance, oh my god. I feel like every time I see them do a live performance, they just somehow get better and sound better. Like Andy, holy shit, your screams, my guy. Like, you have to be working with some vocal coach that is just pushing you past any limit you have seen before, because you sound better with your screams than you ever have. And I thought that the last Warped Tour performance, and this time, granted, I won't say that this performance was as good as that one, but at least you guys got to finish your set. Like, hello? But I digress. The performance for Warped Orlando, amazing. The set list was great. I'm glad you guys threw in Rebel Love Song out of nowhere. Very cool. And if I was that fan that you met in the hotel, I would have been fucking cheesing the moment you played it. Obviously, I wasn't. It most certainly wasn't me. But I love that that was why you guys played it. And the set list, yeah, it was amazing. The impromptu screams and stuff that you threw in there, Andy, amazing. Like, if anyone wants to go watch it, it is on their Warped Tour. I believe the live stream is still on their YouTube channel. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed. And I'm sure it'll eventually be posted as a proper live video, just as the last one was too. So, very cool. Black Veil Brides, hell yes. And that is not all I have to say about them. They also, or at least Andy had said this in a post, he has said that there is going to be more to come in 2026. Now, Andy Bierzak, he ended up saying on his newest Instagram post, "Thank you at Vans Warped Orlando. Yesterday was an incredible experience and a perfect way to end the year for us. 2026 will be very busy for Black Veil Brides, with a new record, new tours, new videos, and so to have the chance to wrap up our year with all of you yesterday in my home state of Florida was a very special experience. Best day ever. Thank you again for all your support, love, and kindness. We cannot wait to share everything we've been working on with you soon." So, new Black Veil in the new year. I know we already knew this, kinda, but now it's most certainly cemented. It is confirmed by Andy himself, and makes me very happy. Also, very cool, the new logo. He was able to sneak in a Black Veil Brides Batman bat, I guess, like in the new vest he was wearing on stage during the Warped Tour. Like, you know how it's the BVB logo. If you zoom in on there, he posted it to his Instagram story to confirm it. There's a little bat for his love for Batman. So very cool he was able to do that. And again, the band, they kill it every time. I love whenever I get to catch live performances like that, since I don't get to see them often enough. Fingers crossed that some of that new tour date stuff that they were talking about is going to be in Canada, specifically Alberta. Please, please come back. I love to see you, and I know a lot of other people around here do too. And unfortunately, there was no new docu-series episode. I apologize on the false info that I shared there. I just thought, you know, Chris told me, he commented on my last YouTube video, but unfortunately, that's not the case. I don't know when the next docu-series episode will be out, and I don't think anyone really does for sure except for the band, and maybe it's going through some extra steps to get to the finalized product. But when we get there, and I will be sure to talk about it whenever that happens. So new Black Veil next year, very excited. And after, you know, NFCP, I'm kind of emotionally drained. But I was able to listen to Palais Royale's newest song, which I very much enjoyed. They've got a new era on the way. And one I am looking forward to listening to, but haven't listened to yet, was The Devil Wears Prada, Flowers. It's their newest album, and I don't know exactly what to say about it yet, because again, I haven't heard it. But I will say, it's apparently been quite controversial. I guess some fans don't like the sound change that they've done, but others love it. So I'm very curious, even more so, to just see what I think about it, to be honest. And other than that, you can look forward to tomorrow, Tuesday, if you're listening to it on Tuesday, then today, new Bad Omens song with hopefully, I mean, this is just me being kind of out there. I'm hoping that there might be finally an album announcement to come alongside with it. Granted, we'll see, but a new song for sure tomorrow at 9 a.m. ET, so 10 a.m. my time. I'm very much looking forward to that, and that's all I really have to say aside from the Game Awards. That was announced the nominees, and I'm looking forward to some of it, but more so just hoping that a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer comes out during the actual award show, and I'll have my clown paint ready. But thank you so much for listening, and if you guys have any thoughts towards NF, please feel free to share them. I have a very strong passion for his music, and this EP hit me in ways that I didn't even expect or didn't even see coming. Like, I knew it would hit me, but to sob as hard as I did, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Again, at Lights Monarch on all socials. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within.